No Democrat is going to win the nomination for President of the United States without the African American support, nor should they. That's Kate Bedingfield, Joe Biden's deputy campaign manager. Shalom, shalom. Yes, right, y'all. This is Yehonathan Dawid with you here, Yahweh for Christians at gmail.com, 443-306-3518. Sam Cook. Were you voting back in, what was it, 1960, 61? You'll be out there. 2019, 2020. How much of a difference has it been from then to now? Talking about 60 years. But is the voting going to change all the cyber attacks going across the country, stealing your pensions, stealing all of your wealth? Is it going to stop the huge pharmaceutical companies like Oxycontin who drug your children and then claim bankruptcy after killing almost 500,000 lives when they knew that their product was killing people? Is it going to change your Baltimore City Police Department's gun task force? You know, the federal judges denied the city's motion to dismiss those charges. So the city has been ordered to turn over thousands of pages of email, internal investigations, and other documents detailing what the senior officials already knew about the corrupt task force. I turned on the radio one day going to work. I only caught like the tail end of it. But Jack Young was talking about another kind of specialized task force to combat Baltimore's epidemic of crime, so-called epidemic of crime. You all know what the definition of sanity is. So, I had a lot going on. I want to make you aware of the Maryland Lynching Memorial Project Incorporation. They had an event on the same day that Trump came into town, and I had made a donation. I was going to attend the event, and just slipped past me. I got so much stuff going on that I even missed the event. But I still want to call your attention to it. I plan on keeping in touch with this group here because it is definitely something that is needed. This is the Maryland Lynching Memorial Project Incorporated. Uh, Look them up. Let me give you an email address here. Is WS W Schwartz, WSCHWARZ at mdlynchingmemorial.org. W Schwartz, SCHWARZ at mdlynchingmemorial.org. Contact them and support that project. Hopefully they have another event that I can go to I just had so much stuff going on. I missed it Thursday, and it's something I want to look into, give a donation, help out. But there's so much going on. Your mayoral races, the beat goes on and on and on. We can pick ourselves up and put us ourselves 400 years in the future. You're going to see the same thing happening. The chain gang is rhythm moves on. Jerome Johnson, Lamar Johnson, Walter Lomax, Clarence Shipley, Herbert Williams served a combined 120 years in jail as innocent victims. So they were chain ganging in prison. And the governor actually supports them getting compensated for it. $100,000 per year is what they're looking at, and that will equal about $12 million. And interestingly enough, Mr. Williams, he's the only white one in that group. He's the one that initiated this, that caused this stir of them being compensated for, and the other four men came in on it. But Hogan is for it. He wants to have an administrative law judges to meet this out. But 120 years. And Maryland has a history of doing this and compensating those improperly incarcerated. I remember Bloodsworth in 1994 because I was actually working in the penitentiary at that time. And he was, I mean, not in 1994, but he was compensated in 1994 $300,000 for 10 years in prison, falsely accused for murder. So he was falsely accused for murder. And I remember I was there at the time, and I know I probably could have treated him better myself. When you see somebody pale and flaming red head, looked like the devil himself to me. Like the devil himself to me. And of course, I believe. I don't remember all particulars of his case. I don't even want to say what I think. I know it was murder, falsely accused of murder, but I saw him. I know, uh, prejudged him as being guilty. That doesn't mean he didn't do anything else, but no one should be arrested for something they didn't do. Webster got 900,000 for 20 years in prison. That was in 2003. And Michael Austin got 1.4 million for 27 years in prison, Maryland State Prison, in 2004. So now these five gentlemen will be the first since 2004. So I looked up the National Registry of Exonerations, the NRE, and since 1989, we're just talking about 29 years. Since 1989, there's 2,265 documented exonerees who served 20,800 years in prison. And they were innocent. According to the jurisdictions they served in, deemed them not guilty. 20,080 years. Now, paid out to them total 2.2 billion. 2.2 billion. So, but that's not the only cost. The cost of the investigation, convictions, and imprisonments, and everything that is a ripple effect that goes about with that. There's a big ripple effect, and you cannot pay a man. You couldn't give me $1.5 million for 27 of my years away from society. There's no cost for your freedom. There's no real cost because it's more than just years taken away and prime years of strength and productivity, but there's other lives that probably didn't no longer exist. You didn't procreate. You didn't increase society and help. You did, was not of any benefit. All you did was take tax dollars to house you and lock you up improperly. 20,000, 80 years, 2.2 billion is an insult. Yehonathan Dawid with you here. Yahweh for Christians at gmail.com. 443-306-3518. 50% of those exonerees were never compensated. 50% got nothing at all. I think it was Herbert Williams who, when he was exonerated, a police officer gave him $4 to catch the bus back home. And he was out in the street holding a homeless sign. Homeless for a while. I think he had someone who taken him in now, and he got this lawsuit, so I'm sure somebody's taking him in now. But you get $4 from the police officer to catch the bus. You 2 decades in prison. And of course, as it always goes, no matter what the subject is, no matter what the topic is, some kind of way, those who are so-called black gets the worst of the statistics than those who are so-called white. Because the average so-called black man served 10 more years. I'm talking about the exonerated black man served 10.7 years, while the average so-called white man served 7.4 years before being exonerated. And on top of that, the average so-called black man was compensated $42,000 per year less. So he spent 3 years more in prison. We're talking about innocent people now. 3 more years in prison and got $42,000 per year less. And these jurisdictions are unholy because these men, when you die, the money stops. They don't get the money all at once, for the most part. They get it every year. They die, and the family members can't get it, like as if it didn't affect them. It's really a shame. It's really a shame. Wrongful convictions will continue. And it will continue because, number one, police are protected by what's called qualified immunity. And then the prosecutors, they have absolute immunity. So there's nothing stopping them from continuing wrongful convictions. To make the numbers look good, or better, they don't look good, when you have absolute immunity. There's nothing stopping. This $2.2 billion doesn't mean nothing. And even when prosecutors are proved to be egregiously in misconduct, such as evidence planting, they still have absolute immunity. But you know what? You'll be out there pulling the lever for another Democratic candidate. He's going to make things better for you. You'll be out there still doing the same thing, singing the same song, doing the same dance moves, doing nothing different tomorrow than you're doing today, nothing different today than you did yesterday. Because all you need is another 400 years to get it right. That's a lot of resources improperly locked away. There's the whole industry. If the prisons in Hagerstown closed down, that whole town would commit suicide. They would no longer exist. There's no reason for that town, for anything around it to exist without brothers being locked up. That's why I tell you, your number one duty is to be a righteous man, righteous woman. Go out, do a righteous day's work, give whoever you come, your boss, your supervisor, whatever, do your job, and you should be the best employee in where you work. Do your job and go home. Do not fuel societies. Do not make everybody rich off of your bad behavior. You know, you wonder why are there so many scriptures, and there are probably about 100 of them. I don't know, but about 100 of them about Yahshua returning and relieving prisoners. Why there's so much talk about prisoners? Because in the ancient times, in so-called what you call so-called biblical times, there was no prison system as we have. So why is there so much talk about prisons? Municipalities didn't waste money and resources locking people up. Depending on the crime, you got executed. And quickly. You wasn't being locked up for 20 years and then they hung you or stoned you or burned you or whatever they would want to do. It was you were charged and exonerated or convicted that day or the next day. And you were killed. Or, depending on what the crime was, you were sent out of the city. Always people had refuge cities. You can go to another city or you just sent up north. If you read my book, Yahweh for Christians, you will find out what is up north and why you were sent up north. Your Thumbs Up Week with you here, Yahweh for Christians at gmail.com, 443-306-3518. Also, my book, Yahweh Shua, I am original words, I am original truth. Cursed people, criminals, and people who just escaped went up north. North being north of what they call Africa. That's where they went. But why is there so? I will share. I had my Bible in my holster the last 3 weeks. I'm going to bring it out today. Psalm 79:11. Let the groaning of the prisoner come before you. Preserve those who are appointed to die. When I worked in the penitentiary, there was still the death penalty. There was death row. Sometimes I had to work on that tier. And I've seen a man as young as 19 years old, very fair complexion, small, very slight, probably 160 pounds, on death row. Now, I'm sure he murdered somebody. He sure didn't get pulled out of church and thrown into prison. I'm not saying that. But the point is to see all these souls walking about the tears. Why would the Most High say he has to release those appointed to die? Why? Why would he do that? Because if they locked it, they must belong in there, right? Well, let's see. Psalm 102 and 20. Yahweh looked down from the height of his sanctuary to hear the groaning of the prisoner, to release those appointed to death. One of the main place I worked when I worked in the penitentiary, which has been closed down since, was South Wing. The South Wing was the lockup of the lockup. I would have to do a whole show just on the horrors of this place. It literally was a dungeon where the walls were wet, dark. You couldn't hardly see. It was dangerous to even approach them at their cell because you couldn't hardly see in there. They'll make sure you couldn't see so they can defend themselves. I've seen men whose eyes literally were yellow for lack of light. Their eyes were yellow. The place was like a horror show. Wet, narrow, dark, cold, clammy. Psalm 69:33. Yahweh hears the poor and does not despise his prisoners. He said his prisoners. He hears them. You know, it's no wonder that a lot of brothers come out of prison with, they end up most likely, they come out with religion. Whether it's Islamic or Christian or whatever, they come out with religion. Because it took whatever they did to stop them and put them in a captive state where they can go ahead and then stop what they're doing and hear. Some people, though, shouldn't be in there. I believe, I've heard many stories, but I believe there's one man, I forget his name, I wouldn't tell you his name anyway, but he came home from work early and saw his daughter's window cracked open. And for whatever reason, the scene he saw when he came home was not the normal scene. So he snuck into his house quietly and heard sounds you should not hear from your daughter's room, his 12-year-old daughter's room. He got his gun, kicked down the door, and there was a man whom he knew was raping his 12-year-old daughter. He jumped out the window. The man took his time, didn't go behind the window, went out the front door, walked down the street, and unloaded his gun on him. Walked up to him, then took his time walking down the middle of the street in broad daylight and finished him off and sat there and waited for police to come. Now, should he be locked up? No. He should have had dinner with his daughter that night in his kitchen and watched TV and went to sleep and went to work the next day. Psalm 146:7. The police can kill you though, and they go home. They kill you, they can go home with their daughters and their wives, watch the game, and go to work the next day. Psalm 146:7. He executes justice for the oppressed, gives freedom to the prisoners. Now, why is a righteous man letting prisoners go? They're prisoners. Obviously, they did something wrong, right? Isn't that too often that police officers kick down church doors and take people out and throw them in prison? That doesn't happen. So apparently, injustice is being done. Apparently, oppression is being done. Both those words are used in Psalm 146. It talks about justice and oppression. As the saying goes, hurt people hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. And if you're in a system where you did not do anything wrong, then you have had injustice. Back in my activist days, there were 4 of my nephews lined up on a curb with handcuffs on. Right out here, on what East North Avenue somewhere, I forget the side street, and not too far from Everyman's place. Everyman's place. But so I'm sitting there nose to nose arguing with these officers. None of them look like me, and I was there before they got handcuffed and put down because I saw what was going on. They were trying to help some other girl. There was an argument going on. They was trying to help this young girl who was being beat up by some man, and they got involved because they knew the girl. They got involved more than what they should, as far as I'm concerned, but nevertheless, they did. They didn't do anything that required them to be their heads shoved down onto the curb and them being handcuffed. And they were all around between the ages of like 13, 14, and 15. So anyway, I'm fussing back and forth with the police officers. And believe it or not, I mean, I don't know how come I didn't get handcuffed. Because I'm arguing, cursing with them face to face, going back and forth with them. The so-called paddy wagon cane. And my argument was, listen, you lock these children up. You just starting the whole cycle. Starting the whole cycle. Once you get, and they wouldn't have had a record. They were all below 18 years old. But it's the beginning of being marginalized. If you get a record, there's certain jobs you cannot get. There's certain careers and career tracks you cannot get involved in. It's not a good beginning. Fortunately, the Almighty was with me, and which is unbelievable. I do have to give them some credit. The handcuffs came off all of my nephews, and which, was they didn't have to do that because that's really, you can say that's false imprisonment. They had the handcuffs on. The paddy wagon was there, open, ready for them to get in, and he took them off of them. So that was the influence of the Almighty. But the point is of how I have almost been arrested several times. Many times. Where would I be right now if I had one of those 3 times I could have been locked up? I mean, seriously locked up. Where would I be right now today? I don't think I would have the job I have today. I wouldn't have the career I have today. I would not be in the same place. It is very easy to do. Just a month ago, I had a police officer roll up on me because I ran illegally. I did go across the stop sign, and she comes to me asking me, is something wrong with me? Am I okay? Am I stable? I'm like, what? If my response was any kind of different, I could have been locked up right there. It is not difficult for a black man in Baltimore City to get locked up. That's not a hard thing to do. If you had gone through life as a grown man and never got locked up, you are kind of a rarity. You're a minority. As such, Luke 4:18, the Messiah himself says that he has set me, talking about his father, Yahweh, he has set me to set liberty to the captives, to set at liberty those who are oppressed. Chain gang. Are you oppressed? You're not? Oh, you living good? You out there, you got a good government job, you making six figures, you just bought a new car, you living large, you living good, right? So you're not being oppressed. Everything is copacetic. Everything is fine. So you going out there and go ahead and vote in your next mayor. He's gonna make it all good for you. He's gonna smooth you down. Go ahead and vote for your next president, and everything continues on. But if everything was fine, you would not see what you see on the news every day. Nothing changes. Not functionally, not operationally. Faces change, names change, but structurally, nothing changes. Remember what I talked about? You get 10 balls, okay? You know how they do the lottery, and you put them into the bin or whatever, and then the air blows them out. If those balls came out 1 through 10 the same way every time, you would know something's wrong. It wouldn't take you 400 years to figure that out. The dumbest of you out there would not take 400 years playing your lottery numbers and seeing that it came out the same numbers in a row every time, and you're gonna play some different number and think you're gonna hit it the next time. You would say no, this doesn't work that way. So if you have numbers from 1 to 10, put any kind of race of person you want to put in there. Designate the number to whomever race of people out there, and they came the same way every time. You would know the fix was in. Now, the numbers from 1 to 10, they don't change. The ones from 2 to 9, they move up and down a little bit. Whomever was ranked number 3 might go up to number 2 or down to number 5. There's a little bit of change. But number 1, the ball that represents number 1, that don't change. It hasn't changed since your black butt been over here. And the number 10 ball, which represents you, has always been number 10. It hasn't changed since you've been over here. But in all your intelligence, with all the degrees you got, you've been to school now, because now we're all educated. We got HBCs and we got everything, everybody. And you still go out there with all your intelligence and all your smartness and all your wisdom and all your keeping it real, going out there and vote and think the order those balls are going to change. Wow. I know that I am not the only man in Baltimore that has intelligence in his head, that thinks, that has common sense. I can't be the only one that has common sense. I cannot be. I refuse to believe it. So I'll be here next week preaching, teaching the word of Yah, trying to get you to wake up and do something different. I'll be here again next week. I'll be fasting and praying for my people whom I love. Not talking about hating nobody. Just telling you love yourself. It's interesting that just because you wake up and love yourself, other people get nervous and scared when they shouldn't be. Because the most harmless man on earth, the most harmless woman on earth, is a righteous man, a righteous woman, a righteous child. No one needs to have any fear, but they get fear because they don't want to order those balls to change. That's what they fear. They fear their pecking order change. They fear the totem pole looking different. So then they hate you. But you ain't doing nothing but loving yourself and not feeding the prison system, the whole legal system, not feeding it. That's all you're doing. See, the thing is, everybody knows they're in and you're in except you. That's the problem. And your leaders, like the ones you hear on this radio show, before and after me, are leading you astray. That's why Yahshua says that he is come to set at liberty the captives, to set at liberty those who are oppressed. Yehonatan.week with me here, Yahweh for Christians at gmail.com, 443-306-3518. Please contact that service announcement I gave you about the Maryland Lynching Memorial Project. I tell you, it hurts my heart that I didn't have any information to give you today about them because I plan on attending the event Thursday. But hopefully they have some more coming up. It's a project I would like for you to support. I know I am. Never forget. Shalom, shalom.